Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? My hat is in the back seat because I just got a fountain pop with Tanya. So I'm gonna leave my hat off. So people always ask me, they're like, when are you going to name that hair again? That, do you guys remember the night that my hair was like all acting crazy? And they're like, when are you gonna name that hair again? So this hair right here, do you see her? I didn't know if I should name her Darlene or Jolene, so I'm gonna name her Darlene Jolene. She's got two names. Two first names, one middle name. Darlene Jolene Joe. That's Darlene Jolene Joe right there. She likes to dance. Oh my God. We just went and got fountain pops and drove around about forever, solving the world's problems. Today was a good day. It was a pretty good day. I got kind of sad tonight when I took a nap. Alex was like, we went to brunch, I'll talk about that in a second, but we came home from brunch and then I had the book club and everything, and then later I took a nap with Alex and the dog for like an hour and a half. And I don't know, it just reminded me of, it was like the first Sunday that we've done that since, you know, like just laying there all day long, and it just, I don't know, it was hard. I just really missed Pee-Pee today. It's interesting because Boo and Tucker kind of lay in different places now. They lay really close to each other on the bed, but they kind of lay in different places than they did when Pee-Pee was there too. And they've been like sleeping with us every single night. They didn't always sleep with us every night. Some nights they would sleep in their crate, which we call their house, if Alex had to get up really early, but like they've been sleeping in the bed with us every single night now, which has been nice. Little guys. I think Tucker, I think he's sad. Like, he seems okay, but like, he'll just lay there sometimes and just like, he just kind of looks kind of sad, like he's, I don't know. So many people have said that they really think that dogs know, and I believe that too, but it's hard. So we got up today, and, well, okay. Oh, look at Darlene Jolene Joe. She's dancing over there. Okay, but anyway, I stayed up too late last night, you guys. So I got done vlogging, and then had I started the book already, or did I think I started it last night? I didn't know what book I was going to start. Was that last night that I started? I'm almost positive it is. I'm 3 hours into this book, you guys. I started it last night, and it's called Conviction, and it's by Denise Mira, M-I-R-A. She's actually, I looked, she's written a ton of books, but this is like her newest one, and I think it was a Reese Witherspoon pick of the month or something like that. It is so good, you guys. And I started it, and it takes place in like outside of London, and so it's like in the countryside of England, and the narrator's accent is kind of strong, and so I couldn't listen to it as fast as I usually do at first, and then I like got really used to her accent. Oh my God, this book is, I was just telling Tanya, I was telling Tanya Jean, I was like, you have got to get this book. And somebody on here said, I wish that you would do like where you and Tanya tell each other books. The problem with telling each other books is, and I mentioned that last night about doing reviews on my book channel, is that Tanya will tell me a book, but she tells me the whole book, like the ending and everything too. She was telling me some book about this guy and his dad is in a coma and he wakes up, and I'm like, she told me, and I'm like, before I know it, I'm like, and I'm sure it's like a bestseller, and I'm like, Tanya, why are you telling me now? Now this book is going to come along and I'm going to want to read it, and I already know everything about it. Like, every time I get on Audible, The Silent Patient is like one of the bestsellers, like constant. Like, it's been a bestseller for weeks. I need to just get it and listen to it. But Tanya already told me what happens in the book, so I'm like, I've kind of forgotten a little bit of what she told me now, so maybe I could read it. And but anyway, so this book by Denise Mira, so Tanya was telling me this whole book tonight, and I was like, stop, because I'm gonna want to read the book. She's like, I don't even remember what it was called. I said, I know. But I'm going to be reading a synopsis of a book, and I'm going to be like, oh, this is the book that Tanya read, because that's what I love to do, is get on Audible and like read the synopsis of all the books. So anyway, oh my God, my foot is itching. I wear these plastic black Birkenstocks like all the time, and they started to rip, so I have to buy a new pair. Not real excited about that. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, so this book called Conviction by Denise Mira, it's about this woman. Like, now, I'm into it, but I'm not so far that, like, it would ruin it for you. So, it's about this woman, and she's married to this guy that's kind of an aristocrat in like, England, and his family has, like, a coat of arms and stuff like that. And they've been, like, barristers, like, attorneys, like, for, like, his whole family. And, she, like, specifically married him because she has, like, this history, like, this criminal history, but you don't know what it is. She never says what it is. She has this criminal history, and she, like, changed her name, and she doesn't have, like, a driver's license or a passport or any of this kind of stuff. So she marries this guy, and she has 2 little girls, and they're, like, 7 and 8, and she's obsessed with, like, this true crime podcast. She listens to this true crime podcast every day. And so she wakes up, and she's been waiting, like when they put the true crime podcast out, it, like, has, like, let's say if it's, like, 8 episodes or whatever, they put, like, all 8 episodes out at the same time about, like, one story, or 10 episodes or something. So she wakes up, and she starts listening to this podcast, and she gets, like, really into this, like, podcast about this family that, like, this, dad and his 2 kids that were on, like, this yacht in the south of France, and it blew up, and they all died. And it apparently has this, like, okay, so anyway, she's listening to it. So at the same time that you're, like, it reminds me a little bit, and I never finished this book. I always wanted to finish this book. Maybe I should read this book, but If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italo Calvino, like, I started that book, like, when I was in college, and it's like a book within a book. I never finished that book. That book is actually about this man, this woman, and they meet in a bookstore, and they're talking about this book. And so this woman buys the book, and she realizes when she gets halfway through it that, like, I think this is the book, that she has half of the book and he has the other half of the book or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? So anyway, but that book is called If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. At the beginning of it, it's like, it says, like, sit down. It, like, talks to the reader, and it says, like, sit down, make yourself a cup of coffee or a hot cup of tea, get in a comfortable place, get a pack of cigarettes if you smoke, and now get ready for this book. And it's like, it tells you, like, you are in a bookstore, and, like, so you're like a character in the book, kind of, too. I think. I can see the cover on it. It's a white cover, and it has green and black on it. Anyway, I've been wanting to finish that book for 30 years and never have. But anyway, maybe I started it in high school. I don't even remember. So this is kind of similar to that, in that there's, like, a story within a story. And she's listening to this podcast, and this podcast is about this crime that supposedly occurred. And so you're listening to that. Like, it'll say, like, at the end of a chapter, it'll say, you know, she found the next chapter on her phone and started playing that episode. And then it'll go to that episode, and then it'll say, like, the host of the show, and she'll say, I think her name is Trina, and she's like, this is Trina with crime something, and we're going to talk now about blah, blah, blah. And so you're, like, listening to the podcast at the same time that you're reading the book. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Courtney Summers' book, Sadie, if you ever read Sadie. Oh, that book was so good. I read that that might have been the first book I read in 2019. I have to still do my top 10 books of 2019, but Sadie was so good. It kind of reminds me of that, because Sadie had, like, a podcast in it, too. But the podcast in Sadie was about the girl that went missing. So while you're listening to her story, is that how it was? Or was the whole thing told through a podcast? I can't remember. But anyway, so she's listening to this podcast, and at the same time that she's listening to it, they mention this person that's in the true crime story, and she knew this guy in her past. And so she's, like, goes back to, like, when she knew him, and has these, like, flashbacks of, like, what happened and their interactions and whatever. So then her husband comes down the stairs, and this is real weird. He comes down the stairs, and he's got like a suitcase, and he's dressed to like go on vacation, and she's like thinking he's supposed to go to work, and she's like, what are you doing? And he takes like her and her 7 and 8-year-old into the kitchen, and then her best friend shows up, and this is all at the very beginning, so I'm not ruining anything for you. And her best friend is there, and her husband's having an affair with her best friend, and he tells like the 7 and the 8-year-old girl that mommy's moving into a flat that he bought her, and that they're gonna go on vacation with her and their new like stepmom, this woman, and that they can stay there with their mom, or they can go with them and get to know their new stepmom in Portugal. And she's like, I can't believe this is happening. And it's almost kind of like something happens but you don't really know what it is. Like she's like violent, but you're not sure, like you can't really tell. So anyway, they leave to go to Portugal, and she tells the daughters to go with them. She just can't really deal with it at the time. And it sounds weird, but then she says in there that he was, she was like, I don't know why I'm surprised. He was married and had another wife and family, or had another wife when I met him and got pregnant. So this is like pattern that he does, right? And so she's sitting there and she's like losing it. She can't believe this has happened to her, right? Well, her best friend, who's now having an affair with her husband, and is the new wife, gonna be the new wife, her husband shows up at the door, and he's kind of like real pathetic, and she like pities him and stuff, and he used to be like in a band and whatever, and he was like famous, but now he's not. He's got a bunch of issues. So she and him, like, she goes on the road to like solve this mystery. And so she's listening to the podcast at the same time that she's like going to try to find, I don't know. It's crazy, but it's so good. And I just got totally lost in it last night. And I was like, I looked at the clock and it was like 5:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, like, but I don't want to go home yet. Like, I don't want to stop listening to this. It was so good. So I listened to way too much of it. And then like every time I was in the car today, I listened to it. It's really, really good. So if you're looking for a new book and something that's like suspenseful, now I don't know like what direction it goes. It might end up getting real weird. And I will tell you that so far, there is just a small bit, and it may end up not being this, I don't know. But there's like, they hint at something paranormal in the book, like as part of the true crime case. There's supposedly like a ghost in this true crime story, but it may not be that. It may be something completely normal. I don't know. But anyway, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm like, 2020, I want to read books that I cannot put down. And I have been so blessed so far this year to read books that I can't put down. Even if they really weren't that great, like The Good Nurse, which we did the book club about today. I mean, it wasn't the most fantastic book in the world, but like, I couldn't put it down. Like, I wanted to keep on reading it and finding out. And then If You Tell by Greg Olson, that was the January book club book, was definitely that way. And even Noelle's Diary, which was by that, I can never remember his name. It's that Christmas book. But that was actually really good. I was like bawling on the beach listening to, I mean, it was probably also because I was like, you know, really upset about pee-pee, but that book was pretty good. Like, I was really impressed with that book. I think there's like 3 in that series, but they're about different people. I might read the rest of them. So we had brunch today with our friends, this other couple that we were in their wedding, or they were in our wedding, and then we were in their wedding. We didn't really have people in our wedding besides like our like Alex's mom and my dad were in the wedding, and then Caroline and Sarah, and then Fufu read something as well. Like he translated something for his mom. So, because we wanted Fufu to be able to read something at our wedding, but they were there, or we only had 30 people at our wedding, so they were there. And then they actually, so we got married on a Thursday, and he proposed to her on a Friday at the fountains at the Bellagio. So that like whole weekend, we got to like celebrate our wedding or our marriage with them, and then we got to celebrate their engagement, and then they got married the following summer, and we went to her bachelorette party in Chicago, which was really fun. And God, it seems like so long ago. That was like 2000. It would have been 2012. We stayed at the Public Hotel, and it was just a really good time. So anyway, we had brunch with them today, and they are like like, we're very similar in ways, but we're very different. Like, they do, like, massive marathons and Ironmans and all that kind of stuff. Like, they're really, like that's all they do. And, but they have, like, dogs that they love. We've known them for, so we started dating the same summer. And, the four of us, like, Alex and I started dating, and they started dating the same summer. So we've known them for 11 and a half years now. And Alex actually knew her at college, and then she started dating him, and that's how the four of us started hanging out. But they travel a lot too, but they go to, like, they're like world travelers. Like, they go and they'll do, like, 3 weeks in, like, Peru, and they, like, backpack everywhere, and they just take really cool trips. But, like, Tanya and I were talking about that tonight because she knows them too, and she was like, oh, how are they, and whatever. And he was actually really good for Tanya because he was in the Marines. And so when Tanya's son went in the Marines, Tanya was, like, at first, like, she totally, I mean, Tanya really struggled with Nick being gone in the Marines, and she was like, I really miss him, and I want to see him all the time. And so our friend talked to Tanya about, like, you know, because he was, like, a proud Marine and everything that he learned from it, and that was really helpful to Tanya at the time. So anyway, so thank you to you servicemen and women out there and your families that I forget to say that sometimes on here, that give your lives for us. I appreciate it. And in the absence of I know there's quite a few people in here who their husbands and wives are in the service and are gone. I used to get comments about that all the time. I've gotten a couple recently, so thank you for your husband and wives or partners service, and for you allowing them, you know, I guess, you know, just for you being there in their absence, because I think that's service as well, taking care of your families. It's really hard, you know, like when he was gone, you know, like Tanya really had a hard time with it. Like, I mean, she was so proud of him, but at the same time, it was like, she just, like, missed her kid, you know. She'd say, I just miss my kid so much. And, so yeah. So anyway, we had brunch with them today, and we just, like, it was nice. We just talked and stuff like that, and they brought us a really nice plant for PP, and because she actually knew PP before I did, because she knew, so she used to be friends with Alex's ex too, and so she knew, like, PP, like, right when Alex got PP and stuff. And they had a dog they lost a couple years ago that she had in college, like, high school and college too. So, and it was just nice. We had a nice brunch. It was packed today when we went to brunch, and we went to Patashu, and it was just absolutely packed. And then after that, I called Mel, and Mel and I were still kind of, like, discussing, like, what book we were going to read for February, because we wanted to announce our February. We like to announce our February book, or we like to announce the next book that we're going to read in the live stream if we can. I mean, we've never said that, but I think I like to. I think she does too, just so we have it kind of, like, ready, because we're supposed to do it on the 15th, but, like, sometimes if we're ahead of, like, I don't know what is going on with this thing today. Hold on. Look at Darlene, Jolene Joe. So, it was funny because Mel had texted me, like, 4 books that she had as suggestions. Mel always picks these books that are, like, very specific about things, and I always want to read, like, the bigger case books, you know what I mean? Because I think that they're, like, more popular to people and whatever. So, we were, like, just talking about the different books and whatever, and I kind of threw out this book. I was like, well, I had originally said that, because we had thrown around the idea the last couple months to read Mindhunter by John Douglas, and he was kind of the one that, now I could be wrong about this, but I believe he's the one that kind of came up with the whole idea of profiling serial killers in the FBI, and I believe that's what Mindhunter is about. And it also has Ed Kemper in it. Like, I started watching the series. I got like 3 or 4 episodes into it, and I just never finished it. The series of the book is on Netflix. Alex loved the series, but he didn't watch the 2nd season yet. So I told Mel today on the phone, I was like, listen, if we're not going to read it in January, I don't want to read it, because I just want to watch the show. And she started laughing. She was like, okay, we can read it. I don't care. And I said, or February or March. I just want to know, or it was going to be the February book. I said, or, you know, February, March, April, I don't care, but like, I want to know that we're going to read it in the next couple of months because I want to watch the show. And she was like, well, we can read it. And I was like, but if you have something better, and so then I threw out a book, and then we had decided that we were going to read this book, and then like 2 of the books that she suggested, well, one of the books that she suggested we're going to read in like the late summer, early fall, and and then another book that she suggested came up in the live stream tonight. So we've got a lot of good ideas for this year. I just want to watch that show on Netflix. I heard it was good, and I'm really into like the whole serial killer thing right now, and like listening to the podcast and reading the books and all that kind of stuff. So I really want to watch that show. Plus, we have some trips coming up where I'm gonna have like time to like actually watch shows, like I did in Mexico. So anyway, she was laughing at me on the phone. She's like, okay. So we were in the live stream when we were getting ready to announce the February book. And I kind of was talking about, like, I was kind of saying this, like, this was, like, you know, how we came up with the book. And everybody's like, oh my God, I'm excited to read Mindhunter. I'm excited to read Mindhunter. But Mindhunter was not going to be the book that we were going to read for February. We had kind of, like, pushed it back, and we were going to maybe read it in March. And we weren't even sure about that. And I said, I looked at Mel and I said, okay, do you think that we should just switch the books, the February and March books? And she goes, yeah, I think so. And I said, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I think we should switch them. So February, the book is going to be Mindhunter by John Douglas. So we're going to read that in February, which I'm excited about because it's a long book. So if you're going to listen to it on Audible, it's like 15 and a half hours, I think, 15 hours and 40 minutes or 32 minutes or something. But I know it's a long book too to read. But it's supposed to be, there was another book called, I don't remember what it was called, but anyway, it's on Audible, but there was, we had a couple different books. So we've got some books, some good books to read this year. I'm excited. And, yeah, excited. There's some good books. And we're both excited about that. And then we were trying to come up with different names for the book club that hadn't been taken, and I had come up with Crimeaholics, but then I looked it up, and there's a podcast called Crimeaholics, so we can't call our book club Crimeaholics. I mean, we could, but I'm not going to do that. So we're kind of throwing around some different ideas. I came up with an idea. I just pulled it out of my, you know, I just pulled it out of my, I was gonna say my butt. I just pulled it out of thin air. Mel, I don't know that Mel is completely convinced that she likes it, so we're neither one of us, like, we're both talking about it, and she's like, I'm not very good with coming up with titles for stuff like this. I'm like, I'm not either. And, but I kind of, like, told her, I said, I think it would be good if we, like, came up with a book, like a title that, like, had something to do with this. And she's like, oh yeah, I totally agree. So we've got some ideas of, like, the direction that we want to go into. So we'll be changing the title of Peter's Book Club to something else soon. We've just got to figure out how we're going to do that. But yeah, and it was fun. We had Taylor was in there, and we guested 2 people, Taylor and Melody. And if you want to participate in the book club, you can come to the live streams. You just read the book that we're reading for the month. I usually mention it on here, and I always do a video about it on my BookTube channel. But the camera stopped, and it didn't beep, and I have no idea when it stopped. So I'm going to go back for a second and talk about what I was saying. So we guested people. We guested Taylor. Hey, Taylor. We guested Melody. Hey, Melody. And we had a really great discussion. It was the 4 of us. And if you want to participate in the live stream and guest with us, just come over there and you can guest with us. It's real easy. It's on You Now, which is listed below. And if you want to participate in the book club, all you have to do is read the book. You can join the book club on Goodreads, which is linked underneath my BookTube channel videos. Or you can just read the book. I usually announce it over here, and you can come into the live stream. You don't even have to say anything. You can just sit there and be silent the whole time if you want. Yeah, And so for January, we are reading If You Tell by Greg Olson. And February, we are reading Mindhunter by John Douglas. And I love the book club. It's so much fun. We had such a great conversation in there tonight. It was really fun. And Melody and Taylor added so much to it, and it's really nice to have other people, you know, other than just like Mel and I, you know, and Mel and I just did not love The Good Nurse, so it was really nice to have other people come in there and like share their opinion and talk about how they felt about things, because then we didn't have to just be like, you know, like, oh, this is all about you know what I mean? Like, it was nice, because I said to Mel one time, I said, I said something like, you haven't said a whole lot, do you want to say something? And she's like, no, I'm glad they're talking, because I don't really have a whole lot to say about this book. Or maybe she said that to me afterwards. I think she did. Sorry, Mel. But I didn't either. Like, I didn't have tons to say about the book, because I just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't that riveted by the book. Is that even how I wasn't that interested in it. It wasn't that riveting, you know? And it was just kind of really a sad book, so. Yeah, so that was the book club, and then after the book club, Alex was taking a nap, and then he like got up and started watching. He's watching Witcher on Netflix. He said it's really good. He's really into it. But I wanted to just take a nap, and at that point it was like 6. And so I sat down and I started like putting my video together that I was gonna do. Oh my god, it was such a mess. I wanted to do a Peter Monn video for my drama channel, and I wanted to do a Peterisms video, and I wanted to do a review video. I had all of them. I was gonna actually do the Bark Box, because I might do 2 reviews tomorrow, just because I didn't do one today. But I wanted to do the Bark Box because we got it in the mail today, and I was just like, I just want to get these dog boxes done with. Like, I had a hard time doing the one the other day, the Dapper Dog box. It was cute, but just to do those dog stuff without PP there is tough, and I just want to get them done. So, but I also want to see what's in the box for the dogs, because they have like really good treats in there and things like that. They always have like high quality treats, and I don't want to take those things out without doing, you know, the review. So I sat down to do this drama video, and I had these clips. I mean, I still don't understand what happened. I had these clips of Shane Dawson from his Instagram talking, and it was like a 3-minute clip. I had like a 3-minute clip, and then I had like a 40-second clip. And the 40-second clip, so, you know, I transfer them over to my computer, and then I put them into the video on iMovie. Well, the 44-second clip, the sound was perfect. The 3-minute clip, which I mean, I watched this clip so many times, I think I could verbatim tell you what Shane Dawson said in his clip. I re-recorded it, sound on, microphone on, it was just such a mess. Whenever I would transfer it over to my computer, the file, like if I had it there on my desktop, like you could push play and you could hear it. If it pulled it up, you could hear it, it was fine. As soon as I put it into iMovie, it had no sound. I have no clue what was happening. I still don't. I don't know if it was with my phone. I don't know if it was with the file. I don't know if it's with iMovie. I have no clue, but I was so frustrated. And I still don't understand what happened. Because I literally filmed these clips, like, seconds apart, and one has sound and the other doesn't. Maybe it's something on Shane Dawson's end, I can't believe I'm talking about this in a vlog video, but I don't know, like, maybe it was how he recorded the sound on the phone, but I don't think so, because it was all recorded, like, together, so, I don't know, it's so weird. And the thing is, I also could hear it, like, on my phone, you know, and stuff, but, so I ended up having to just leave that out. And I went back in after like an hour and just like recorded this like 10-second clip, 20-second clip of me just saying that I couldn't include it in there, but I was frustrated because I had worked on it for an hour. And I even asked Alex, and Alex was like working on it and trying to help me with it, and he couldn't figure it out either. So it's just frustrating, you know, because I was like, at that point I had worked on it so long, I was just like, okay, now to not include it felt like a waste of time. But by that point, it was like when I finally got it done and stuff, it was almost like 8:30, and I was like, I am not recording any more videos. Nobody's going to want to be up at 11 o'clock at night watching a review of a dog box. They just don't care that much. So I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow. So I put everything up, got the video up, and then I laid down at like 8:30. Alex was watching his show, and he had his headphones on. And so I laid down until 10? 10:30? I think it was like 10:30 maybe. I had such a great nap. It was so nice. And, yeah. And then, I woke up and Tanya said, do you want a fountain? She texted me if I wanted a fountain, so I went and got Tanya. And that was my day. It was a really nice day. Still, it's cold here, 37 degrees, but it seems colder than that. It's just been really nasty. In Indianapolis, it hasn't been nice at all. I kind of hope we get some snow this winter. Like, I'm kind of ready to get a little bit of snow. I don't think we have any snow in the forecast, which people are probably like happy about, but like, I like to live in Indiana for the change of the seasons. Like, that is, I mean, if you ask me, like, what are the reasons why you live in Indiana, I would say, you know, my friends and family, one. Two, because of the change of the seasons. But I'm, like, in a position where I'm, like, ready to go to Florida. And if the seasons aren't going to change, you know, like, fall was literally, like, 2 weeks this year. And then we had, like, an early winter. But now, it's nicer now. I mean, I feel like the last, you know, couple weeks, it's been like fall in Indianapolis versus how fall was. Fall was colder than this. It's crazy. Like, and if we're not, and spring is beautiful in Indianapolis. It's absolutely beautiful. I love spring in Indianapolis. It's been raining so much that these places are just like absolutely flooded. And I love summer in Indianapolis. I mean, ideally what I would love to do, which I don't know, you know, with Alex's work, if he'll ever be able to do this, and you know, it is what it is. I would love to go back and forth, and he knows that that's what I want to do. I would like to, you know, stay in Florida, like, you know, after Christmas, go to Miami and stay in Miami from, you know, the 1st of January until like May, and then come back to Indianapolis. And I'd like to stay in Indianapolis like May through August and go back to Florida like maybe every other weekend or something, you know, wherever, you know. I love being in Miami in the heat. People are like, oh, it's so hot there. I love that, you know. And then maybe like be in Indianapolis for the whole month of October, you know, and part of November, and then I'd love to be here for Christmas, and then go back and forth. That would be ideal for me. So, you know, and I don't know, Alex and I are going to have to talk about that at some point, because, you know, he has no desire to just, like, he likes to work, and, you know, like, and be planted in one place. I mean, he loves going back and forth to places and stuff like that. If we had a place in Florida right now, he would love to go down there on weekends and stuff like that, but we don't. And I mean, that's something that we're definitely looking at right now. But that's expensive, and I mean, that's probably something in the next 5 years, next 2 years, that we will definitely do. We definitely know, we've narrowed it down, we've looked at buildings, we know we want to be in Brickell, which is in Miami. You know, we have a price point that we're looking at. We know that we want, like, you know, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, we want a balcony, we want to have somewhat of a view. You know, there's amenities to the buildings that we want, but we love that area. And for me, you know, it's nice because I can get in a car and I can go drive like this, and, you know, I can go into Coral Gables, or I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can have this in Florida, which is really important to me, but I can also have Miami, which I love, and South Beach and all that kind of stuff. I'm ready for it, you know? If money were not an issue right now, we would get a place down there, and he would probably, over the course of the next year, he would probably slowly find stuff down there, work down there, and then it would be me going back and forth. I mean, he would go back and forth too, but whatever I mean, you know, I'm in a position where I can kind of be wherever right now, so for him, that wouldn't be the case, you know? But I think we're okay with that. Like, I think we're okay with, you know, if I was gone for a week or 2 or whatever and took the dogs back. The other thing is, like, I love road trips, so I wouldn't have a problem driving, and I just put the dogs in the car, and then we'd be back in Indianapolis for 3 weeks, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I could fly with the dogs, but I don't know that I want to put Boo and Tucker through that. So, I don't have an issue with, like, you know, You know, or if I wanted to come back for a weekend and, you know, just hang out with Tanya, I mean, you can get super cheap flights. We're not going to sell the condo. We're going to keep the condo, always. So it's like I'm always going to have a place to come back to. If I wanted to come back and just hang out with Tanya and go shopping and go out to dinner and catch a bunch of meetings with her, my sponsor, you know. Alex is like on Zillow all the time. If you don't know what Zillow is, it's like where you look at like, you know, like apartments and houses and stuff that are for sale. He is constantly sending me condos and from Florida. I mean, there's a lot of areas around there that we would look at. I mean, it's not just there. We look at, is it Doral? And there's different places. I just want to, I want to be like in Miami, but like on the outskirts of Miami, like a little bit more residential. And Brickell is like as close to that as you can get with still being in kind of Miami. It's like still in Miami. But there's other places like, oh, what's the one where there's like tons and tons and tons of, but we have a couple friends that live in Doral. I think that's how you pronounce it. We have friends that live in Coral Gables. What's the one that's where like all the Venezuelan people move to? Because we actually, there, we were talking to some people recently and they lived in Aventura, which actually Alex and I, when we first started thinking about moving down there, long before I was ever on YouTube, we were looking at Aventura and Hollywood, which I would love those areas as well. Maybe Aventura more than Hollywood, but I mean, you want to talk about, the thing is, you're like a half an hour, 40 minutes from Miami, which I don't really mind. I mean, we're like that from downtown Indianapolis. Well, no, not really. We're like 15 minutes from downtown Indianapolis, but why am I holding this thing right here like this? Got exciting things to look forward to. So if I win the Powerball, that's what we're gonna do. Well, if we won the Powerball, if we won a lottery, I can tell you what I would do. Did you ever like, come on, Darlene, Jolene, Joe. Do you ever like sit there and like, I don't even know the last time I bought a Powerball ticket. I usually buy them every once in a while. I'll buy like $10 worth or $20 worth if it gets really high. It's really high right now. It's like $238 million. So if you win the Powerball, could you gift me $1 million? Thanks. Okay. Or whatever you're allowed to gift somebody. I don't know. I'll take a 5 spot. But, I ain't too proud to beg. What was I gonna say? If I won the lottery, people are like, what would you do if you won the lottery, blah, 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 whatever. I can tell you what I would do if I won the lottery. I mean, if I won like $1 million, or if I won like $10 million in the lottery, I don't even need to win $238 million. I can tell you what I would do. I would take $100,000 of it, and I would redo our condo exactly how we wanted to do it. We could probably redo our entire condo and have it be exactly how we want it to be for $50,000. And that would be like a really nice redo. Like, we would, I mean, our condo is so small, we wouldn't even need $100 grand. We could probably put 30 or 50 into it, and it would be a really nice redo. I'm talking about kitchen, bathroom, everything, you know? And then I would buy a place in Florida, and then I put like $100,000 in savings. I'm trying to think if I like won $1 million. Well, if we bought a place in Florida, you know, like I'd buy a nice place for like, I mean, some of these apartments or condos are really expensive. I mean, some of them, I mean, obviously go up into the millions, right? But you can get a really, really nice place, like really nice place for probably like 300, something like 400 in Brickell. So I would probably buy, if I won $1 million, well, what would I get from that? You could take 30% out of that, so you get about $700,000. So I would redo the house. I'd buy a place for, let's say $350. I would just buy it outright, and then I would put the rest in savings. And I wouldn't change anything about my life. I would continue to do what I'm doing because I love my life. But then we would have a place in Florida, and our place in Indianapolis would be exactly how it would want to be. I don't, like, those are the things I want. I don't want for a whole lot, you know? I just don't. I mean, those are, I guess, big ones. People are probably like, oh my God, you don't want for a lot, but a $400,000 condo. I mean, I know that's a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't need tons and, you know, like Louis Vuitton luggage, and I don't need a Porsche. I mean, those things are nice, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I wouldn't have those things, but I don't need them. You know, I probably would take more trips, but like if I had a place in Florida, why? Like I could go to the beach every day, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I just love to be relaxing on the beach and spend time with my husband and my family. I mean, that's what I really enjoy the most of. I think that's something that maybe like changes, you know, as you get older. I think also like when you lose people, and I don't mean just lose people like to them passing away. I mean like you lose friendships, or I think especially when people move away, you know, it's like the things that really seemed important when you were younger just aren't as important anymore. You know, they just aren't. Like, I mean, they just aren't as important as they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There were points in my life when I really did value superficial things, and I thought that, I don't know, and I still like nice things, I really do, you know, but it's like, does it make me feel any different as a person? No. And when I purchase them, they're nice to have, but like, I really think through those purchases now, because I know, like back in the day, I would be like, oh my God, I would love to have this, I would love to have this, and I'm going, oh my God, I would love to have this, but like, I know, once I have it, 5 minutes later, it's not going to make me feel any different. Like, I mean, I know that for a fact today, you know what I mean? But I think back in the day, I really thought, like, I would feel some kind of way if I, you know, had a Louis Vuitton backpack. And I mean, I still like that stuff. I talked on here not too long ago about wanting like a Gucci backpack or whatever. But I also know today that I don't feel like I need, I mean, I felt driven back in the day to have those things, you know, or like, I think the difference is, like back in the day, like just to cut down all like BS, like I felt like if I had a backpack, like a Gucci backpack on my shoulder, and somebody saw me with a Gucci bag, like, this is so superficial and just phony, but like you might think differently of me because I had that, or you know what I mean? Like I think I had such low self-esteem. I think I just had such low self-concept that like I needed that, you know, or I don't know. And the funny thing is, I've never been somebody that's really had a lot of that in my life. I've never, you know, I mean, I've had like a nice watch, a nice bag. I haven't had like nice bags, nice watches. I mean, I have had a lot of nice watches, but like not like $1,000 of watches, you know what I mean? But like, I've never been somebody that's like been consumed with that stuff, but I would want it, you know, and I think that's okay. I still have an appreciation for it, but I get real bored of it real quick. Like when we go to that Crystals Mall in like Las Vegas, like there's things, like I'm more attracted to the stuff that's real different, but it's like, I don't know. Like if I don't know, if I had $100 million sitting in the bank, would I be different? Like I wonder that sometimes. You know, I got all bent out of shape when we went to Mexico because, like, I just was not organized. And, you know, like I said the other night, it was just like, it was like I was packing and putting stuff together and, like, I didn't even want to be going. I don't even know how to explain it. But anyway, I looked everywhere for that stupid North Face backpack that I bought on Amazon with the gift card that Carlos and Liliana got me. And it was like a $45 backpack that I ended up paying $20 for, right? I love that backpack. It is like perfection for like if you go on a trip, taking things with you. I have no idea where that backpack is. I've like lost that backpack. It's like, I can't find it anywhere in the house. I looked when we got back. I can't find it anywhere. I mean, I can buy another one, but what a waste of money for $45, right? And what I've realized is like, and it didn't even need to be North Face. It could have just been any kind of little old backpack. You know what I mean? But like, I don't, And it was funny because like on the beach when we were there, so like I brought some of my like toiletries in this like, when we go to Ultra every year, they give us these like clear drawstring bags. And so Alex has saved them every year. So I just like put some of my toiletries that I was afraid were gonna spill into my suitcase. I put them in there. So, but the first 2 days that we went to the beach, I had no bag. And Alex had this little bag that actually somebody sent me to like take a picture of on Instagram like months ago. And it was underneath all this stuff and I forgot it was there. And so Alex was like, do you care if I take this backpack? And I was like, no. It was like this little tiny white backpack. And I actually got the pictures to post on Instagram, so I will post that at some point, because the backpack's pretty cool, but it's small. But anyway, so, you know, like when you're in a hotel room and you get those huge bags that are like this big, and they're like where you put your laundry in to leave like on the door so they'll take it to get dry cleaned? That was my beach bag, okay? Like I had like my phone and like my t-shirt and my hat like in there. I had this huge plastic beach. I just don't care, you know? It's like, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I do sometimes wonder, you know, Alex does love really nice things. I mean, he really, really does like nice stuff. And he really, somebody, I gotta, hold on, I'm gonna have to pull in here because somebody's texting me. He really does like nice stuff. He, you know, he likes the Louis Vuitton and all that. And he got me, you know, he got me this beautiful wallet for Christmas. I love this wallet, this Gucci wallet. But like the other Gucci wallet that I had, I mean, I made it last like 8 years or something, you know? I don't know, this is a stupid conversation, isn't it? It's a stupid conversation. You know what my mother would have said back in the day? She would say, why are you having this? This is stupid. This is a pointless conversation. Why are you sitting here talking about like luxury bags? But if you want to buy me a Louis Vuitton bag, I wouldn't say no. That's what she would say. Because my mom did too. She liked nice things, but she'd just be like, it's fine to like nice things, just don't become consumed with them, you know? Then if you lose them tomorrow, that, you know, you feel like there's something wrong with your life. And that's, I think, what it is for me. Hold on a second, how long have I been vlogging? My friends want to talk about something. She said it's not serious though, so I'll call her when I'm done. Kind of hungry. Oh, it's gonna stop. Hold on. Okay. I'm kind of hungry. We ate brunch and then I haven't had anything since, and I didn't even finish my brunch today. Oh, that's not true. I had those M&Ms and some leftover Pringles. I had that, but I mean, I didn't have had a meal. You know, it's interesting, like, the things that really, she just texted me this, like, really long text. I'm like, oh my God, gal. You know, it's interesting, the things that are really important to me today, or the things that, like, make me happy. It's like, I really enjoyed watching True Detective in Mexico, or driving around last night and listening to a fantastic book, or, you know, sitting in the car with Tanya and just like having like a really deep conversation like we did tonight, you know, or we're laughing, we're sharing stuff with each other, and, you know, like, or a really good date with Alex, or just laying in bed with the dogs and him, you know, or, I don't know, like, waking up and realizing I have a few more hours to sleep, stuff like that. You know, it's like, on Thursdays, because of the trash, like, I have to get up and, like, move my car so Alex can get out and stuff, and, like, when I come back, I always have, like, a couple more hours to sleep, and I love that, you know, and, I don't know, it's just, the rest of it's nice too. You know, I love nice trips. I love nice hotel rooms. Those are like two things that I really do enjoy. Those are two things I probably would spend money on. Like, and when people are always like, I love when people are like, you're not in your hotel room, so why spend the money on it? I like a good hotel room. Like, that is something that I do like. But Alex and I really, in the tail end of 2020, we want to like do some Airbnbs. We really want to do that. So, and we want to take some short trips. But it is funny, you know, it's like the things back in the day that I thought were so important to me just aren't as much anymore. And I don't know if that's because I'm changed so much, or if it's because I had some of those things. She's texting me again. Or if it's because I had some of those things and I realized that when I got them, they didn't do for me what I thought they would. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe that's it sometimes. That we want these things. I don't think it's like, it is really nothing about like, oh, I got older and wiser and now like, you know what I mean? That's not it at all. Some of the wisest people that I have ever known in my entire life, some of the most humble people, so, I mean this in all sincerity, some of the most humble people, some of the nicest people, the most peaceful, caring, compassionate people are some of the financially wealthiest people I've ever met in my life too. Now, likewise, some of the nastiest people, who lacked humility and whatever, were also some of the wealthiest people. They were also some of the, you know, the poorest people that had either way. I don't necessarily think that money dictates that. I don't think it has to. So it's not like I think I got older and I got wiser and I figured it all out and I don't need, you know, material items or anything like that. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think I realized that those aren't the things that make me truly happy at my core. You know what I mean? But I'd still like to have some of those things. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I drive by this billboard all the time for this arts exhibit that I want to see. I don't even know who the person is, but I've wanted to see it forever. I just love like the painting that they have on it. And so I said after we went to go see A Christmas Carol that I was going to start doing more of that stuff, and I haven't. Whatever. Let me pull in here and see what she's saying to me. I might have to get off here if she's like wanting to talk like this second. Where am I at on time? Something stinks outside the Steak and Shake, my God. It smells like rotten sewer. I used to love Steak and Shake. My husband and I, God, what is that smell? Oh my God. Oh, it's horrible. Are they not open 24 hours? I don't see anybody in that parking lot. Probably because of that smell. Whew. It smells like a sewer pipe broke. Oh my God. When Alex and I got together, when we would go out, I don't know what she's saying. It's funny because, like, okay, when you're in early recovery, you, like, need to, like, reach out to people a lot, right? Like, I did. Like, once I got comfortable picking up the phone and calling people, I, like, call people all the time. And people will say, call me any time of day, it doesn't matter. Well, now, I feel like I feel like some people say that and some people don't. I feel like a lot of, like, my friends will be like, yeah, I'm usually in bed by 12, which means don't call after 12, which that's not really, like, in recovery, we basically say, if you, like, if you need me, I'm here for you, right? So I always say to people, like, yeah, I'm up really late at night, so call me anytime, okay? Well, like, people don't call me or text me ever. Like, I almost never get calls or texts. Like, you should see my phone. It's literally the same 2 or 3 people, and it's like, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. You know what I mean? It's like the same 3 people every single day that I talk to. And if Alex's name is in there, it's only because he's like calling me on his way home from work, being like, hey, I'm on my own way from work. You want to go grab dinner or something? Because we usually text. And so it's like always just like the same 3 people. Like, I think people have this misconception that I'm like, have such this busy social life and I talk to people and that is not the story of my life. I wish that. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of happy with how things are. Like, I don't feel like I need tons of people in my life. I don't know. Maybe if I had a couple more friends, I'd be okay. Because, you know, but, oh my God, my good Judy Valerie, she's been out of town for weeks now, visiting, her family and some friends. And I'm like, could you just come home? I missed you already. So she's supposed to come home tomorrow. We'll see. But anyway, so Valerie, if you're watching this, it's about damn time that you come home. And you know, I feel that way. The other day, she said, I'm going to be up here for just a couple more days. And we usually like, because, you know, we're older, and people, when you're older, you text like long sentences. When you're older, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, you like to use punctuation and all that kind of stuff. So Valerie and I, we usually use punctuation and stuff like that. So the other day, she said to me, I'm going to be up here for a couple more days. And I said, K. I responded with K. And I wanted her to know what that meant was, it's time for you to come home. Okay, I'm ready for you to come home. I'm ready for me to see my good Judy Valerie. It's time for me to see you. Okay, I want to see you. So anyway, I love you, Valerie. If you're watching this, you know that. I could have a couple more friends, you know, to do some other things, but oh my God, my friend, I forgot to talk about this. My friend that I went to high school with that watches all of my videos. She watches my vlog every night. She knows who she is. She's my good Judy. Back in the day, we used to drive around, smoke clove cigarettes, and we would sing to the top of our lungs Stevie Nicks music. She's my good Judy back in the day. So Alex and I ran into her. God, when was this? I almost feel like it's before Christmas sometime. But anyway, we ran into her at Cafe Patashu, and she came out. She looks exactly the same as she did 30 years ago. Why do my friends, I swear to God, they don't ever age. She looks so good. So anyway, we sat there and talked for a second. So I said, when I get back, we're gonna have to get together and stuff. So when was that I saw her? Anyway, it doesn't matter, but she looks so good. So I'm gonna see her sometime. I gotta call her. But anyway, that was nice. And what else? I had something else I wanted to say. Now I can't remember what it was. What was I saying before that? Oh, Valerie, friends. Yeah, I don't need a whole lot more friends. I feel like right now I have just the perfect amount of friends. Like, I'm not real lonely, and I feel just as busy as I want to be, but I have enough time, you know, to like watch a TV show or listen to an audiobook and have like time to myself. Alex and I have been spending so much time together. It's been really nice. I think he kind of enjoyed the fact today that I had other stuff to do, so that he could just like lay in bed and watch TV. Like, we've been doing a lot of stuff together. We went out to dinner a couple nights this week together, and then we did the vision boards. Oh, I know what I was going to say about that, like art thing. When we went to go see the Christmas Carol with Sarah, I was like, I want to start booking more things to go see, like, and do. And I said to her, I said, would you want to go too? Because she loves doing like cultural stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, I would love to. So I need to look into that and see some stuff that we can like book. I think that would be fun. We can all go out to eat afterwards and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I like to do that kind of stuff. It's fun. Okay, one last thing I want to say. I am not a musical person. But a friend of mine the other day, we were talking about Hamilton, and she went and saw Hamilton because she got Hamilton tickets for Christmas. So she was telling me that she got Hamilton tickets, and she went and saw it. And she said she really loved it and all this kind of stuff. I said, yeah, I don't really have any desire to see Hamilton. I said, you know, I would if I got tickets, but I don't really have any huge desire to go see it. I said, I'm not a musical person. I mean, back in the day, Annie, Oklahoma, you know, My Fair Lady, I loved those, okay? But like, all of this stuff now, like the musicals, I don't love them. I mean, they're okay, but they're not my favorites, okay? she was like, oh my God, have you seen the, apparently that Lin-Manuel, I can't think of his last name, but anyway, he's so good looking, the one that did Hamilton. I think he wrote and directed it and acted in it. He, apparently his first musical was called In the Heights, and it's coming out as a I don't know if it was his first movie, but that's what or first musical, but that's what she said. It's coming out as a musical in, this summer. Have you guys seen the preview for this? Now, y'all know I don't like musicals, I just said it, right? Go and watch the preview for In the Heights. It is so fantastic, you guys. It looks so good. I cannot wait. It's about Washington Heights. I cannot wait until this movie comes out. Like, I got so excited watching it. I was like, oh, I want to download the music already, and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm never that way with musicals. I'm never that way. So I was like real excited about that. So go check that out. Go check out the preview for In the Heights. And if you're looking for a new TV show to watch, go watch the 3rd season of True Detective, or watch The Confession Killer, or Killer Confessions, or whatever on Netflix. That's really good if you like true crime stuff. And if you're looking for a book to read, the true crime book of the month, of course you want to read that. But then but warning trigger, it's about abuse, it's a lot. But then you also want to read Conviction by Denise Mira, because I'm really, really loving that right now. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna get off here now and call my friend back, or call my friend. So I hope you guys are having, oh my God, it's the beginning of the week. It's Monday. I hope you're having an amazing Monday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something really fun today. Take some time to yourself, you know? I think in treating ourselves well, that means like taking a bubble bath, or eating some kind of, like buying a piece of fruit that you know, this is kind of a funny story. Like, I have obviously had mangoes in my life. So if you didn't know, my favorite fruit is mangoes, okay? I'd had mangoes in my life, but I used to go to Trader Joe's, and this is when I first became a vegetarian. I would go to Trader Joe's all the time, and they have like really good fresh, not Trader Joe's, Fresh Time, and they have really good fresh fruit cut up there, right? And so I would want to try some different things, like was the star fruit and all that kind of stuff. And so I had mangoes before, but I hadn't really like had them and enjoyed them. I had them in other things, right? So I started getting fresh cut mangoes on a daily basis, and I fell in love with mangoes. I was like, oh my God, and I'm like addicted to them now. Like, mangoes are my favorite fruit in the entire world. Little trick, put a little salt on them too. It's not healthy for you, but they're really good. My mom, back in the day, we would watch Alfred Hitchcock movies, and we would make peanut butter sandwiches, and we would eat peanut butter sandwiches, apples, whole apples, and she would put salt on them, and then we would have popcorn, and we would drink glasses of milk. It was really good. It was fun. But anyway, so try something new. Go and splurge on a piece of fruit that's fruit's expensive, you know? Some kind of fruit you've never had before. Or some kind of candy or treat or something like that. Go down the candy aisle and buy an expensive candy bar that you wouldn't normally spend the money on. There's some like $3 and $4 candy bars that are like, you know, you've never heard of. It's from like a different country or something. Try something different. And do something today that will make you proud 5 or 10 years down the road. Make some change in your life. And, yeah, and just enjoy the day. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day, and you say, I love you, you are important, you are valuable, you are good looking. Hey, good looking. And today is going to be an amazing, magical, fantastic day, and 2020 is your year. And do your positive affirmations every single day. And treat yourself kind, joke with yourself, be compassionate to yourself. Don't be too tough on yourself. Don't berate yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive others. And most importantly, make sure that you let somebody know in your life today how important they are to you. Forgiveness is an interesting thing, isn't it? Practice forgiveness, practice kindness. When you wake up today, or if you're going to bed watching this when you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself consciously, who do I want to be today? And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Bye. Love ya.